So this is going to be Mark telling you guys about his experience with scaling a business. So you mentioned in the previous video that there's some kind of complications that you ran into when you started to scale your business. If you could tell us a bit about that now, that would be awesome.
Okay, sweet. So when I started to dropship on eBay, I didn't use any software. I didn't have any virtual assistants, right? So I manually searched for products, downloaded images, uploaded images, description.
The whole shebang.
Yeah, the whole nine, right? Since then, we've developed software. A lot of other companies have developed software, and I've gotten employees that help me with the whole scaling, right? Some of the challenges, the software side of things, there's no reason to get into that really because that's more technical challenges.
Yeah.
But scaling with VAs is where the challenges come in. So basically, in dropshipping on eBay, you have a number of different tasks, right? You have listings, so that means finding products, listing them, pricing them properly. You have customer service, meaning answering questions, responding to emails, closing cases, and then you have fulfillment, where you have ordering items and getting it to the customers. A lot of people would think that fulfillment is the most dangerous part of the business to scale because you're given virtual assistants access to credit cards or PayPal or whatever the case may be. And strangely enough, I think the opposite way.
Yeah,
right?
I've heard that as well, actually. That most people have a paranoia about sharing that information, but the problems actually tend to arise from the other parts of the business.
Right. So when you think about fulfillment, you're talking about like you get an order, then the VA use your credit card or gift cards and so on and ship the items to the buyer, right? If you use credit cards, you're protected by the bank. So if it was a fraud, if the VA decides they have family in the US and they ship stuff to their family and you notice, you call your bank and get the money back. So that's not a big deal. When it comes to customer service, on the other hand, you can completely lose your business with the customer service portion because eBay don't want you to cancel orders. The whole cancellation problem, right?
Yeah.
And they also want you to close cases without them having to close it.
Yeah.
So those are the two things that could make you completely lose your business. And if the VAs don't understand that, remember, these are just employees, right? Generally speaking, employees want to do the least amount of work to get the money that you're willing to pay them. So on the customer service side, they have two ways that you could just lose your business. Generally speaking, I give my VAs a couple of rules. If you open my email, if you open a message, answer it. And the reason for that is some people would open it, not have the answer, close it, and think they'll answer it later.
Yeah.
But I tell them, if you don't have the answer, find the answer, or call me or send me a message and get the answer. Don't open an email without answering. So that helped with the message part of it. And you could give them certain frameworks to work. Like, for instance, when you get a case, close it within 48 hours. All this stuff is good. You have to outline it literally and send it to them to reduce the chance of them just ignoring it. But you still have to keep an eye on them to make sure they fulfill what they say they're going to fulfill because this is your business, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not going to feel the type of responsibility for the business that you would. So that's one of the challenges with respect to customer service. On the listing portion of it, I've seen a lot of people tell VAs, hey, they want at least 5 listings a day, 10, 20. But these people, the VAs generally aren't motivated or there's no incentive usually to list items that would sell.
Yeah.
So what I do is I pay a very base salary and give them 50 cents. This may sound bad, but they have the base salary and 50 cents each time a listing sells. That gives them some sort of incentive that they would list within the guidelines that you give them.
You have to find a way for them to benefit when the listing performs well. Because if they don't benefit when the listing performs well, they're not going to make listings that will perform well. They're just going to do everything they can to make listings as fast as possible. And they're probably going to be crap.
And then a lot of the times you guys are not going to want to go through the hassle of looking over the listings because you hired a VA to save you time. But in the beginning, after hiring someone, I suggest that you look after their work for at least a month to make sure that they're doing the correct thing, to make sure, for them to know that you're following up with them so they can't just do nonsense and expect to get away with it. And then you should be okay. You know what I mean? Another thing you want to make sure is that you understand every part of your business before you outsource.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are failing in their business and think, okay, I can just outsource and things will change. If you don't understand what's going on, you cannot hold the VAs accountable for the work that they have to do. So that's another thing. That's just a couple of the challenges I went through with scaling. I've actually gone below standard in the scaling process. Luckily, I didn't go too far below standard, so I came back above standard after.
You were able to recover.
Yeah, but generally, that could be a challenge.
And so this is why you prefer, because we live in Nicaragua, this is why you prefer to have laborers here, because you can see them in person, talk to them, and
Right.
it's easier to kind of maintain and teach them and show them things. Whereas when you have a virtual assistant, it takes you have to spend like a month or two really training them properly, because if you don't do that, you're gonna get bad results, like pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, that's just and like for me personally, I even pay someone to pick them up in the morning to make sure they're here on time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just, because this is my livelihood, I am weirded out about just handing it out to someone. So yeah.
Sweet. Is there anything else you think might come up with scaling that people like? Any mistakes you made that?
I mean, I cover the mistakes. I just
Yeah.
trust. The thing is, thinking that scaling is easy is a huge mistake. And thinking that it's going to happen instantly is another thing. So you have to take it step by step. Outsource as little as possible and slowly scale.
Yeah.
Don't just, like, the one thing, I got to like $5,000 a month profit, and I want to get 10,000. I was just like, okay, you do this, you do that, you do that, expecting that boom.
Yeah.
When that's just not the case.
So you should whatever business you end up making, you should make it as efficient as possible when it's small, because when it's small, it's easy to change things and tweak things and make, adapt.
Right.
When you get bigger, it's so much more complicated. And back when I lived in the States, that was a common mistake that I saw business owners make, is that they would just obsess about making their business bigger. And then they would make these mistakes, and because they'd scaled before figuring out if they were being as efficient as possible, they just multiplied the work and the things that were going wrong exponentially. So yeah, they were earning more money, but they were also losing a lot more money as well. So it's really important you get an efficient system down and you really understand your business, and then you scale.
Right, exactly.
Sweet. All right. We'll see you guys in the next section.
Yeah.
Ciao.